looks like, according to Xsplit, we're now live. Although that lovely gray bar there. Oh, that's funny. So I saw it on Xsplit actually before it popped up on YouTube. Hey, sisters. Good to see you. It's an ugly, ugly bar. You have to mess with the settings there. I like the idea of having the chat, pop up there on the screen. And hey, Bradley, good to see you. I know that there's a few people streaming right now, and I know that, I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes, but I just wanted to kind of test out the settings here and mess around. This is not going to be a particularly long live stream. I'm not feeling particularly good. Mrs. Antidrecker is currently at church, and so I'm just working on getting some things together. What is Xsplit? Xsplit is actually a program in contrast to OBS Studio. It's very similar in some ways. Xsplit is actually a little more advanced, and I've had Xsplit for some time. The reason I kind of it's funny because I got and it's funny because I've had Xsplit for a long time. I got it back when Lore Reloaded and I were working together. Both of us got what's called a lifetime license for Xsplit because Xsplit is not a free program like OBS. And so you can purchase it on a yearly basis, or you can purchase like their lifetime license, which is much more expensive, several $100s, but you get all the updates for the lifetime of forever. And then so we've been using it back in the Gaming Heretic days, and then I don't know if Laura still uses it. I haven't asked him. And honestly, a couple of updates came out and it just started sucking. I mean, it was like all sorts of crash issues and just all sorts of problems with it. And so I stopped using it myself. And when I started learning how to use OBS, and I realized OBS just seemed a little more flexible. And there are still some things I like about OBS better than Xsplit, but there are some other features of Xsplit I actually, frankly, like better than OBS. I think Xsplit has a better interface. I think it's a little more flexible. But we'll see as far as I tried putting the Streamlabs donations little animation thing into Xsplit. We'll see if that works. I will tell you that integrating the super chat animations is a lot easier in Xsplit than it was in OBS. So there are certain things that are just easier to do. And hey, Thomas, good to see you. So, also, hey to John and Cinnabon as well. So I kind of pushed Xsplit aside in favor of OBS. And recently, I hadn't thought about it, but it just kind of clicked in my very defective brain in the last week or so that why am I not using it? Because if I have two fully functional streaming programs, and I'm streaming on two different platforms, namely Twitch and YouTube, I should actually be using them both. And yes, Thomas, thank you for asking. Mrs. Pepper is feeling much better today. Most of you don't know, but Thomas and I were talking behind the scenes. Mrs. Pepper was not feeling well because of the heat. It's been pushing 100 degrees the last couple days, which here in Tennessee, that is unusually warm. And she has just been feeling absolutely horrible. She does not do well in the heat, and she has been, and on top of that, she had a seizure like on Thursday, which also usually knocks her out for a day or two. So she's been having a rough week, But she's back on her feet today. She actually, that's why she went to church. I want to make sure that she was feeling up to it before she went to church on her own. See, that's kind of weird having the candles right where the chat is, I think. Let's see. And then we got our new candle here. Let's see. I like that one. Here we go. Come on. You can light. First time you light a candle, it always takes a minute. But almost. Had it for a second. There we go. Alright. Forgot to light them. Alright, so and so wow, where was I? Oh, that's cool. I can scroll the chat up and down in Xsplit. I like that. So that way you guys, when I read the chat, you guys can see where I'm at in the chat. That's kind of cool. So Sister says, haven't used Xsplit in a long time. Thomas's breaking news: secret survey proves major unhappy employees at Lucasfilm. For those of you that were on my Twitch stream, yes, well, the secret surveys, don't even get me started on that. Sisters asked if those are smelly candles. Yes, they are. I love scented candles. I do indeed. And don't like the green one. I like the green one here. I'm saving that one for when a couple of these are down. This is hemp and ivy, which I really do like that scent. And let's see, is the shirt? No, the shirt is not meant to be insulting you. I'm sorry. That's just the shirt that I'm wearing. People say it's unusually cold being only 97 for, the people where I live say it's unusually cold being only 97 for a few weeks. Well, Josh, here 97 is unusually warm. And we can see the huge blocks of chat you skip. Well, Sonobon, I'm trying to keep up as best I can. Hemp smelling. Yeah, it's hemp and ivy. I don't know what a hemp plant smells like. I just know I like the scent of that candle. Anyway, back to the XSplit / OBS thing. So, as many of you know, I've been having all sorts of problems with the like when people leave a Streamlabs donation versus a super chat. Sometimes the alert plays, sometimes it doesn't, and it was very, very annoying. And I'm kind of trying to if anybody leaves a donation, hopefully we'll find out today if it works. And so as far as in XSplit, I've never tried to use Streamlabs in XSplit. But assuming that it works in XSplit, then, and it works consistently in XSplit, then that may solve the problem. Because what I realized, what I think the problem is that I keep logging out and logging back in. Because with OBS, and this is a problem, because once you become I can't remember what it's called now, but the equivalent of a like YouTube has their partnership program where you can monetize channels, and you know, Twitch has their equivalent. I can't remember what it's called now because my brain is not quite firing on all thrusters. And once you gain that level, well, part of the agreement with Twitch is that you cannot stream to both Twitch and YouTube at the same time. You basically have to stream. If you're streaming to Twitch, you have a 24-hour agreement. So that means that what you stream to Twitch is exclusive to Twitch for 24 hours. So you can't like just simulcast to YouTube. Well, that means that you know, I'm kind of stuck. I can't stream to both. So I have to log on in the program. I have to log out of YouTube and log into Twitch when I'm streaming to Twitch, and vice versa. And Life with Thomas donates $1. Thank you, Thomas.
Life_with_Thomas $1. Where the hell is the Noah movie?
Well, the Noah movie, you heard Her Majesty Queen Pepper has issued she's used her royal authority to ban that movie from Kurdistan. It is now the only movie officially banned by the government of Kurdistan. What can I say? So, I have to respect the Queen. The Queen is the boss. So, I heard Xsplit is being popped by Disney, says Cinnabon. Wow. Josh says, where I live, when it drops below 80, they put on winter jackets. Where do you live, Josh? Hell? Sister says, I'm a big fan of Yankee candles, but since this mess started, I've not made a trip to the mall to get any new ones. Yeah, these actually are all Yankee candles. And I like this boat-shaped one with the super wide wick. I think it's really, really cool. The only problem is it doesn't last particularly long, and it's kind of expensive. So I probably won't be getting this style of candle again, but I think the really, really wide wick is super cool. I just think it looks really cool. But for what you get, it's not worth the price, because it costs about as much as one of these bad boys, and these are fairly expensive. And so, yeah. Let's see. Thomas says I always stop in Yankee Candles when I'm at the mall. Yeah, that's or like whenever me and Mrs. Antichecker go out to breakfast, we usually go to Cracker Barrel, and they sell Yankee Candles there. Cinnamon says, how goes the Disney buying you out? So Josh is saying that to Cinnamon. Sister says, yeah, you need to go to my local mall before they close it down again. Salty Tracker, how's it going? Hey, Multi-Gunman hanging in there. Josh says, did Queen Pepper know you were torturing us with speed and... Whoops, didn't mean to move that. Speed Acid Trip Racer. She actually likes that movie a lot, so that's not going to work. And Thomas says, my cat woodwick candle sound. My cat doesn't like the woodwick crackling sound. I like the woodwick crackling sound. Auntie doesn't care about it. She sleeps through. Of course, Auntie would sleep through, I think, the apocalypse. And our cat, I think, our cat doesn't really hang out in here, so I don't think he would care either. But yeah. Josh says 40-minute drive to Falcon Lake and Rio Grande River. So you're down. So Rio Grande River. So is that like down south? I've heard of Cracker Barrel, but I don't know what it is. It's a family restaurant. Southern food, for the most part. They're not bad. It's kind of weird because here in Tennessee they don't have like Denny's, and Cracker Barrel is kind of the equivalent, but kind of Southern food is their main stuff. Admiral Zaval's in the house, says, hey, how you doing? Sister says, I miss Cracker Barrel. We don't have any here on Long Island. Yeah, Cracker Barrel is all over the South. But it's a little sparse outside of the American South. I know that they just started popping up in, like, Oregon. But, parts of the country, it's, doesn't exist. Parts of the country, it's just now expanding outward. But in the South, it's as common as a Denny's. So I'm going to experiment a little bit while my main computer is once again in the hands of Ashurion, and try streaming on YouTube, on Xsplit, streaming on Twitch with OBS, because OBS and Twitch seem to get along. Well, Twitch, like OBS, has like the sound alerts and stuff like that, which is more Twitch stuff, and where YouTube doesn't really have that kind of stuff. So yeah, I wish the chat looked cooler. Like, I like that thing that Matthew uses for the chat. I'm gonna have to see if there's something like that for the chat. And Admiral Saval says Cracker Barrel equals greasy food. Well, I don't think all their food is greasy, but I mean, you get greasy food at just about any family food. I mean, it's you know a grill. Most of their food is cooked on a grill, so yeah. Alex says, "Evening, all you lucky." Laura is playing the dumb adventure game. Well, Laura is, I don't know what Laura's doing. I saw Laura streaming, but, hey, the thing is we don't have any exclusivity content agreements. Laura and I will occasionally stream at the same time, and of course we will always stream at the same time on Tuesdays. So, but we're friends, and I don't mind if he streams when I do, or if he, as long as we're not talking about the exact same thing. Tom says we do have them in PA. Sister says there's one in PA, but that's two bridges I would like to have to cross, and that's money. Yeah, paying tolls is no fun. We're about to miss everything if Biden tries to lock us down Aussie style. Well, I don't know about that, but hey, if depending on how serious it is. And I don't think that Biden is going to lock anyone down. I think that's more of a local decision. Just saying, I think governors will be making that decision more than the president. Let's see. Where was I? Sister says, I know where one is, but not worth the troll money. John DeMarco says, I like the food at Cracker Barrel. Kate asks, burgers. I think they have some burgers, but like I said, Southern food is their main fare, so things like chicken fried steak, you would be more likely, or, chicken and dumplings and stuff like that. Thomas says, there's 3 close to me. What's wrong with greasy food? Well, it depends on the food. Like, if you're talking about fried chicken, nothing. I don't have a problem with greasy fried chicken if it's tasty. But if you're talking about, I don't know, a cheese sandwich, that probably shouldn't be greasy. I don't know. I'm just saying. Are you using Xsplit Broadcaster? Right now, yes. And so I thought Sonic was a gas station chain until a few months ago. Well, it kind of looks like a gas station, doesn't it? Josh says, I'm near the border. If I go west or south, I have to go through a border station, and I'm having 3 to 4 border patrol chase a day of the life. Living near Texas-Mexico border. So are you in Texas then? I mean, I have no idea. When you say Falcon Lake, doesn't ring a bell. I don't know. I'm not a geography major, so. Sister's talking to Thomas. Admiral Saval says, how's the back and the knee? Admiral Saval, you don't want to ask me about my health right now. Thomas talking to Sister's talking to Tom. Talking about food now. I'm getting hungry. Alex says, here in Georgia we have counties locking down even though the governor doesn't. Well, and that's the thing with the lockdown thing. It depends on, I'll be completely honest. It's a matter of, and I do think that depending on, as far as this virus, localized outbreaks can require localized lockdowns. It really can. So I think that it's smarter to have localized county lockdowns than to have statewide lockdowns if you could nail it down to that small of an area. And for example, if in Rutherford County where I live, if you don't have much of a problem, but north of us in Nashville, it's a major problem, then it makes sense to lock down Nashville but not Rutherford County. Just like if you're on a state by state basis, if you're having a big problem in New York, but you're not having a problem in Tennessee, it would make sense to lock down New York but not Tennessee. You know? So I don't have a problem dealing with it on a county by county or a state by state basis. And, you know, I know that some people want to deny COVID, whatever. That's not what this live stream is about. This live stream is just testing Xsplit. So please let's not get into a big old discussion about COVID. And let's see. Greasy salad, probably not good. I would tend to agree. Let's see. During a White House press conference, they said they'd be open to another lockdown. Well, the White House never did a lockdown, but and I don't think the White House has the authority to order a lockdown. They could suggest one, but I don't think that they could actually order one. And even if they did order one, I think some states like southern, Texas would be like, yeah, we're right. Multi-Gunman likes the shirt. Thank you, sir. Sister says, I miss Texas when the government said there I should not. When the government sent me there, I should not have left. Well, sorry. I'm sorry, but I could not live in Texas. Too dang hot. Pennsylvania Turnpike tolls are BS. Whoa, and the chat jumped. 14 straight years of toll increases. Yeah, no thank you. Josh says, I'm in Texas. Sister says, but family, not sure why. Josh, talking to Josh, Admiral says, love your shirt, Mike. What's the story behind it? Not really a story, just saw the shirt and thought it was funny, so I bought it. This was a Walmart, $5 shirt, that's all. That's the story. Only blue counties locking down, obviously. It's funny, because as far as, I like I said, I'm not getting into a big old political discussion here. Guys, just let it go. Let it go. Robert says, hello, how you doing, Robert? Agree, have more local makes sense. It does, because, we're talking about, when we're talking about something like a pandemic, it doesn't make sense to try and treat, you're not going to have a one-size-fits-all solution. You're just not. All right, I'm just going to stick to the stuff that's addressed to me right now because there's the chat. I'm falling behind here in the chat. Multi-Gunman says, confirmed, Salty Trucker denies COVID. Jerk. Renegade says, Salty Trucker, heed Australia's warning. If Sydney had locked down sooner, it wouldn't still be in lockdown. Fortunately, it hasn't spread north of my area yet. That's good, but I am of the opinion that I think people, unfortunately, this is the problem with Americans. I'm, and don't get me wrong, I am very grateful. I think that as far as I think that Americans win the birthright lottery as far as, we live the life of luxury, relatively speaking. I think that this country is a great place to be. I think that the climate here is great. I think that that our lifestyle is great. I think that we have, things are awesome in this country for the most part. But Americans are pig-headed, right? And one of the things about our country is the foundation of this country. We were founded, and this is a big difference between the United States and many other countries, is that the United States was founded as in rebellion and revolution, right? So we are a naturally rebellious people. And so when we are told to do something, our natural inclination is to resist. So in many countries around the world, when things happen, the chat keeps trying to move. When things happen, people just, ignore or people just do whatever the government tells them to do. In the United States, the government says, hey, you need to do this. And the people are like, no, hell no. I got my rights. Heck no, no way. I'm not doing that because I got my constitutional rights and you ain't making me wear a mask and you're not making me stay home and da 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 and da 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 and da 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 and it's like, dude, they're not telling you this because they're trying to be jerks. They're telling you this because there's a pandemic going on. So I understand what you're saying there, Renegade, but Americans are pig-headed and they ain't gonna listen. Thomas says, did you read that article? I refuse to. Josh, let's see. Jordan says, if there's another lockdown, there will be an even bigger red wave than what's coming. I disagree. I'll tell you my one conspiracy theory in a second here. I genuinely believe the Republican Party is ending very soon. And let's see. This chat is harder to. I'm gonna switch to the just using the YouTube one because I can't control that one very easily. So let me go there. Let's see. Multi Gunman says, "Yeah, I can't take the heat either." Let me go to pop out here. Move this over here. All right. Multi-Gunman hates the heat. At least you aren't Matthew behind in comments. That's true, Thomas, but that's very difficult to reach that level. You need to go to Crawford, Texas. It's funny. It's like I would like to go to Crawford, Texas just to say that I live in my own town. However, it's still too dang hot in Texas. Alex says, people in Eastern Europe trust their government even less. I disagree. I think that Americans trust their government less than any other people in the world. What is your favorite Trek episode which deals with government corruption and why?
Hi dilly ho, hi dilly ho, hi dilly ho, hi dilly ho.
And Life with Matthew donates $1. Thank you, Matthew.
Life_with_Matthew $1. It's my constitutional right to go through red lights, stop signs, and run old ladies over.
Matthew should move to Portland, Oregon, where bicyclists can, in fact, do most of that, just not run little old ladies over. But they can run stop signs and flashing red lights. As far as a Star Trek episode specifically dealing with corrupt government, that's a tough one. I don't know that, I'm trying to think of like a favorite episode. Nothing's jumping out at me, Alex, just because I can't think of like an episode that I like because it's about corrupt government, So I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to take a mulligan on that one. Robert says, I'm doing okay, wouldn't mind living in Israel myself. You're fighting the chat window. Yes, I was. I lived 10 minutes from Joshua, Texas, about 6 years ago. See, that's another one where my son, he would have to live in Joshua, Texas. Tom says, well, I have two towns in Pennsylvania named after me, Pottstown and Pottsville. See, that's not fair. You got two towns in Pennsylvania. That's just not fair. All right, so here's my big conspiracy theory, and then I'm going to get off of politics because I don't like it because Thomas gets mad at me for talking about politics. I genuinely, the more I think about this, the more I believe that this conspiracy theory is true. I think that Donald Trump is purposely and knowingly trying to destroy the Republican Party from the inside. I genuinely believe that's true. And I think that what we're seeing is the beginning of the end of the Republican Party. I think it is imploding. I do not think we're getting a red wave. I think that I think the Republican Party is going to bleed out. That's the only red we're going to be seeing from the Republican Party, because the Republican Party is radicalizing. The Republican Party is becoming not just more conservative, but is becoming radically racist. It is becoming, and I'm sorry, but I know people don't want to hear this, but it is true. We are hearing racist rhetoric coming from the Republican Party. They handed the microphone of the Republican Party over to a woman who is talking about how awesome racial profiling is, and stuff like that. And this is the Republican Party of today. We have people that are sitting there we are getting a Republican Party that is white nationalist. We're getting a Republican Party that is, in fact, perfectly okay with acts of terror, where we are storming the Capitol building and people are willing to say that this is normal behavior, that this is actually just, I mean, people are saying, oh no, it's just like you would just think that it was just another day, that it was just a group of tourists coming to look at the building. We have groups like Fox News mocking the law enforcement officers that put their lives on the line to try and defend the politicians whose lives were in jeopardy because of the mobs that were storming the Capitol building. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think that the Democrats are saints. I do not. I am nobody's liberal. And this is not something that I'm happy about. So please don't take this as some anti-conservative rant, because I am an anti-ideologist. But as far as my political alignment, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I tend to be more libertarian with my thoughts, but the Republican Party, I think, is dying. And I think that it's because, and the problem is that, and this is where people don't see it. Donald Trump, guess who, nobody pays attention to history, and it's so funny. Donald Trump's best buddies in the whole frickin' world a few years ago were Bill and Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump was a lifelong Democrat. Then all of a sudden, he becomes a Democrat. All out of the blue. All of a sudden he becomes a Republican. All of a sudden, the Clintons are the worst people ever. All of a sudden, he is like, oh yeah, those horrible Democrats. Oh, all of a sudden, I'm the most conservative person ever. All of a sudden, his rhetoric, he sounds, and it's so funny. When you listen to his rhetoric, he always says, I am the most conservative person ever. He will always say, oh, I am the most pro-life person ever. I am the most whatever ever. That's his standard answer to everything. And then people actually repeat it. People actually say the same thing that he does, right? That they actually believe it. And so they think that his rhetoric is true. The man is a classic New York liberal pretending to be a Republican, and then he's radicalizing the party, and nobody sees through this. Which I don't understand. I genuinely don't understand why nobody sees through it. And Alex, thank you so much for posting a $10 super chat. To disagree with me, no less. I appreciate it. Why is it playing twice? That's weird.
Are you kidding me? What happened at the Capitol was a protest that got out of control. The reason for it was that the courts refused to hear grievances. Somehow BLM and ANTIFA are not terrorists. Okay,
so let me address that for a second. First of all, what happened at the Capitol was something. Let's talk about the evil crimes of Matthew. What happened at the Capitol was something called sedition. That's the actual name of the crime. It was not. I'm not saying it was. It was sedition. That's the actual name of the crime. Taking a federal building by force is sedition. As far as BLM and Antifa or anything like that, and I will say this with all seriousness and absolutely No problem whatsoever. Any person during a BLM rally that throws an object at a police officer or whatever should be tried and should be arrested and tried to the full extent of the law. Anybody that storms a federal building should be charged with sedition. I don't care if it's a BLM rally or if it's a Trump rally. I don't care. This was not a protest that got out of control, however. This was an intentional storming of the building. This was not like a bunch of people that were like holding picket signs outside of the building and then after several hours, something happened. They marched on the building and immediately stormed the building. And so, and if you want to say it's not sedition, I'm sorry, Alex, then you don't know what sedition means. They took the building by force. That is the definition of sedition. Now, don't get me wrong. Again, I'm not defending the Democrats. I'm not saying, and I'm not defending Black Lives Matter. I'm not defending Antifa. And that's the problem. Like some of the things that some of you guys say there, it's like, just because I'm attacking what is going on with Trump and I'm attacking what happened on January 6th, that's not defending some of the craziness on the other side. But that's what we do. And that's how radicalized we are right now. All of a sudden, just because I'm willing to say that those people are criminals, that means I'm defending these other idiots. And by the way, Thomas, and thank you for pointing that out. And I know there's a lot of stuff in the chat, but let me say, so no one from January 6th was charged with sedition. That is criminal. The fact that they're only being charged with trespassing is sick. They stormed the Capitol. They literally stormed the Capitol building. We had people running around the Capitol building, the actual Senate floor, with an enemy battle flag, no less, and they're being charged with trespassing. And I'm sorry, that's not, yeah, that's trespassing. I mean, I'm sorry, but let me see here. Let's save this on H drive. So we can go back. Tell me that is not sedition. An enemy battle flag on the floor of the United States Capitol. That is sedition. And I do think it's kind of funny that when you look up sedition, it literally does show pictures from that day. That is kind of funny. But that is a textbook example of it. You can't, you know what? And the funny thing is that so people want to say, oh golly gee, oh golly gee, these are just patriots. I'm sorry, a patriot doesn't take an enemy flag and bring it to the Capitol. That's not patriotic. A patriot. Look, I have no. I can say it. A patriot can be a person who believes that the election was stolen. A patriot can also be a member of Black Lives Matter. A patriot can be a person who is protesting what's going on with our government. A patriot can be a person who disagrees with our government loudly. A patriot can absolutely be a person who is marching in our streets. A patriot is never a person who is carrying the flag of the enemy of the United States on the Capitol floor.
Hi diddly ho, hi diddly ho, hi diddly ho, hi diddly ho, oh hilly da, oh hilly da, oh hilly da, oh hilly da, hi diddly ho, hi diddly ho,
Why is it playing twice?
hi diddly ho.
I gotta figure that
I
out.
was a co-organizer LCUKYI had other work that day. The plan was to have the crowd shame the congressman who endorsed fraud. They would see the eyes of the people who they let down as they left.
Well, that might have been your plan, Alex, but obviously there was other people who organized something different. And don't get me wrong, I think that there were multiple groups that had multiple plans. And again, I'm not trying to say that everybody that agrees with Trump is a bad person, and I'm not trying to say what flag the U.S. is. It was the Confederate battle flag, Shlomo. And I'm sorry, Alex. The Confederate flag can be heritage if you're keeping it in your house and you're displaying it in a display case or whatever. It is not heritage to march on the freaking Capitol. And I'm sorry, I didn't want to say freaking there. To march on the freaking Capitol of the United States with an enemy flag is not heritage. Okay, that is a war crime. And Admiral Sawano, I don't even. My computer is dead right now. I'm sorry, buddy. My computer is literally dead. There's a difference between. Look, my next door neighbor had a 100-year-old Confederate battle flag that he kept hanging from the rafters in his garage, and I certainly respect that. But I have no respect for that guy that's walking around. I'm sorry, dude. You really think that marching on the Capitol building with that flag is showing your heritage? No. I'm sorry. The war ended. And to march on the Capitol building with that flag is to show you are an enemy of the United States. Nothing else. Anyway, that's it for politics. We're done. No more. But I do think that, I'm just saying that's my conspiracy theory. I think that Trump is trying to destroy the Republican Party from the inside because he's successfully radicalizing the Republican Party. He is successfully getting, basically moderate Republicans are leaving the party in droves. And so the party will fall apart. So we're not going to see a red wave. We are going to see the party bleed out. That's my opinion. All right, so what do you want to talk about, Thomas? You name the subject, we will move to it. I see your angry faces. Will you name any subject, Thomas, and we will switch to it. I'm done. Sisters, no, my PC, I have to mail it back to the idiots at Ashurian.
Hi diddly ho, hi diddly ho, hi diddly ho, hi diddly ho. Oh,
An insane hippie insane.
Oh, hilly da, hi diddly ho, hi diddly ho,
I gotta
hi
figure out
diddly
that.
ho,
Yeah,
hi
maybe I've got
diddly
to
ho.
change some of the settings in
Both
there.
parties are becoming more racist. The Dems just hide theirs in critical race theories.
I don't think it's critical race theory, but I do think the Dems they're better at hiding their racism than the Republicans. I agree with you. I do think critical race theory is the wrong tree to bark up, but I do agree with you. Don't get me wrong. I believe me, I'm not defending the Democrats at all. And it's funny because moving to the South, it's actually, you know, it's you can definitely tell the difference being in a interracial couple. John DeMarco wants to talk about dolphins. Hey, how'd you guys like so here's what I was thinking about doing. So John and Thomas, you guys tell me what you think. So here's I was thinking about, and it'll be challenging. I'm not going to lie. It'll be very challenging to do in a week's time. But I was thinking about trying over this next week to do a to take some of the footage that we've already used of Aqua Matthew rescuing the dolphins and having him beam the dolphins up to the Enterprise. What do you think? And then if I can find the footage, what would be great is he could like beam them up to the Enterprise, and then like they could eat the dolphins or something. Thomas wants me to get a haircut. Wait, you don't like my hair, buddy? Come on now, it's not that long. And yes, this is warranty repair. So I sent the computer in, and I figured out what the problem. The problem was the SSD drive failed. Sent it back to them, and they replaced the SSD and a couple of fans that they found were defective. And so I hooked it up, and as I turned it on, it asked me to set up my keyboard configuration, what country I'm in, standard initial setup for Windows. It did the initials turn on, asked for, I entered in my Microsoft information, and then I downloaded Chrome, and I rebooted the computer after I downloaded Chrome, and then the screen went black and wouldn't come on. And I was like, ah. So I had to file another claim, and they had to send me another box, and so now I'm sending it back to them. This time I think it's the graphics card. And so who knows how long it's going to take them to get me, a 2080. And so, do you have the funds? I don't have to pay to send it to Asurion. They sent me the shipping label and the box and stuff. I just have to, Admiral. So, fortunately, I'm not having to send them or pay to send it to them. I just got to get it to the UPS place to drop it off. But it sucks because, I'm very lucky that I have this old computer that's good that I built. That's a very solid computer. So yeah. How about the dolphins eat Matthew? That would be difficult. I don't know of any footage that I'd be able to edit to make look like that. Tom says, did you ever get that clip of Matthew accidentally call himself a Turdistani, then a Karogan, and then an idiot? No! I did you send it to me? You probably did, and I just haven't done anything with it. The Super Friends Dark Side was lame, wasn't he? I don't remember the Super Friends Dark Side. It's been a long time since I've watched the Super Friends, and me and Pepper are still in season 1, and boy, do they suck. And let's see. Insane Hippie Insane says, I cut it every 2 years or so and donate to make wigs for kids with cancer. Oh, that's very cool. That is really, so you're talking about you cut your hair off to do that? That's awesome. Buy a computer for Costco. Their extended warranty is the best. They actually just put a Costco in our area. I don't know if Costco has a computer that'd be good enough for me, but I don't have the money to buy a computer from Costco, so I couldn't if I wanted to. And I see that link, Thomas. I'll check it out later. Admiral says, have you caught any of my streams I've done in the last 3 months? I have not, but mainly because, yeah, I've been, man. I didn't want to tell you about how the last 3 months have been for me. I've been either at the doctor or online or just vegging out because of my, honestly, my brain's not working right. Live with Matthew probably hunts dolphins for fun. I would, in real life, I think you're right. Still waiting for a Team Kurdistan shirt. I do like that idea. We got to figure out a way to do that. I'm still trying to figure out what happened to the merch store. It kind of disappeared. I wonder if there's a problem with it. Maybe YouTube did something to it. Do you want to talk about the Dominion War being a metaphor for World War II? I don't think the Dominion War was a metaphor for World War II. How's the MS thing doing? Well, I assume you mean the MS diagnosis. Well, that's where I'm really kind of mad because the latest word on the MS thing is that the doctor's saying, oh, well, I'm going to have to wait another 6 months in all probability for a diagnosis. To which, I already told this to the doctor. I have an appointment with her on Tuesday morning. But I told her in a message that it's like, well, that's all fine and dandy, but in 6 months, I probably won't have a job. And if I don't have a job, I won't have health insurance. And if I don't have health insurance, guess what? I won't be coming in 6 months to get another MRI, you know? So, yeah. That's a serious problem. You know, my leave from work ends this coming week, and I'm going to do everything in my power. I've been working pretty much all day, trying not to fall down and get this room ready for working. And so I have the table that's right in front of me that has the microphone. You can kind of see if I push the table, it's on wheels. The microphones are attached to it. I have another table identical to it that is right off camera here that will have my work computers, so that when I'm not live streaming, I can push this table. There's about 4 feet in front of me that I have empty space that I can push this table, because the monitors are actually quite a distance away from me. Like, you know, I have lots of these grabber things because I cannot bend over, but you can see, like, there's lots of room because this is like a 40-inch TV for a monitor. So there's lots of room there. So I can push these away and then bring that over and work. Then at the end of my work shift, slide that over, bring this table back up, and live stream. Because unfortunately, and this is something I was telling the or talking to one of the people at our church about, is there's only 2 places right now that I can actually be. And that's this chair and my bed. I can't, like, being in a regular chair, like, and that's why I'm not at church right now. Like Mrs. I want to say Mrs. Anchecker, but Pepper, you know, she's at church with Joshua. The only reason I'm not with him, it's not that I don't want to be at church right now. It's that the chairs are so uncomfortable for me because they just hurt. And so, I can't sit in those chairs for an hour and a half. And it would just be too painful. And so, no, Thomas, this is my dining room. And so I'm no longer, my office was upstairs. I can't go up the stairs very well anymore. So this, I've kind of taken over the dining room, and yeah, that's why I'm, yeah. Multi-Gunman says, Costco's a gift from God. I'd live there if I could. Yeah, I want to get a Costco membership. Honestly, I will when I can afford to, but right now I just can't. The Costco here just opened like a week or 2 ago. but we can't afford to go there right now anyway. Jordan said, do you have to have a certain amount of subscribers to have a store? You do, and I did hit that number, but then the store just kind of disappeared from my channel, and I don't know why. I'm sure that YouTube probably sent me an email, and I just didn't see it. The Super Friends Dark Side had a thing for Wonder Woman. That doesn't surprise me. Admiral Saval says the wife. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Alex says all the Casa Balance reference, Cisco leaving DS0. I'm assuming you mean DS9. I was like MacArthur leaving the Philippines. I shall return. I don't know. I still don't see. I can see like there are certain parallels, but I don't think that the entirety of the Dominion War was like a World War II I think you could see parallels, like I said, but I don't think that it was meant to be like, hey, this is their World War II. Because maybe it's just me, but I mean the Allies, especially once the United States joined, because if you look at the Allied powers, there was really, we were never like hurting like when the United States entered World War II. At least my understanding of World War II. Now, I am not a historical buff like many other people. Like I know that some of you guys are big time history buffs. I am not that. So correct me if I'm wrong. But my understanding of World War II is that when the United States entered the war, at no point were we losing. And in Deep Space Nine, the Federation was pretty much losing the war until the Romulans joined in. Let's see. Thomas says, did you leave the dining room? No, I'm right here. Klingons being allies like Soviets being allies. This guy's war crimes being analogous to the incendiary atom bombs against Japan. I don't see it. I genuinely don't see it. Especially since like the atom bombs, like there was nothing like the atom bombs. It's not like they dropped nukes, anything like that. If they had like, honestly, if they really want to go for a World War II vibe, like if the Federation Alliance had developed a weapon that was like a Death Star-like planet-busting weapon, and they nuked a couple of planets, and they just and they were just like coming into Dominion space and said, "Look, we're going to wipe out the entire Dominion Empire," and like they nuked 2 planets to prove it. The Federation is going to be naive isolationists from running most of the quadrant. The Federation has always been naive, but I don't think they're isolationists. How about getting cushions or having Joshua push you in a computer chair? Well, cushions, not quite enough. As far as getting, I don't think it would be appropriate for me to bring a chair in and like push chairs around in the church. I like if they would let me bring in a comfortable, like I would have to bring in a chair like this. Like even like I have a good computer chair right here and I can sit in it for a few minutes, but not for 2 hours. Jordan says, you lost about 3,000 subscribers over the last few months. That is a gross overstatement. I lost about maybe a couple hundred subscribers, not 3,000. Did you remove the hashtag from the post office box? I did. Springtime says the DS9 writers never wanted the Dominion War to go on past few episodes, no more than 6 to 8 max, probably just one season. Well, it actually only was a handful of episodes. And there it is. And Alex, thank you so much for some $5.
Hi, diddly ho. Oh, hilly da. Oh, hilly da. Oh, hilly da. Oh, hilly da. Hi, diddly ho. Hi, diddly ho. Hi, diddly ho. Hi, diddly ho.
In 1942, Germany had a good chance of winning had they seized the Soviet oil fields. What about the changeling disease like the atom bomb?
You know, the changeling, but you see, we never used germ warfare. We never, at least not that I know of, we never used biological warfare. And the atom bomb was, I mean, because that is something like, if, and I don't know what your experience is like, Alex. I don't know you very well. But as someone who served in the military, there is a big difference between nuclear and biological weaponry. And so I don't see a parallel there because there is a huge difference between the impact of a nuke and biological weapons. And like I said, at no point in the real world was the United States ever losing the war. Just because Germany had a chance of winning had they done things differently, well, they didn't. And once the United States joined the, which the United States is the obvious analogy to the Federation, when the United States joined the war, guess what? We won. Like, the Dominion was way stronger than the Federation. But the United States was stronger than Germany. And so I don't think that I don't think that it was, and the United States with its allies, I should say. We were losing for the first 6 months until we went full gear in production. Then we were able to pump out B-27 every 63 minutes and a battleship every 17 days. Well, I don't know all, like the logistics of every day of the war, but like I said, for the first 6 months is of a campaign that lasted several years, means that we were never really losing. I mean, it's not like they ever were pushing us back into United States territory. Aberjam is in the house. Hey, just have to put your head in a jar and take that to church. There you go. Now you're thinking. Jordan says, I'll bet your pastor would let you bring a chair because it's medical reasons. Well, the problem with that, and I don't think he would mind if I could bring a chair, but this chair, I can't bring this chair into church. This is not a portable chair, so it wouldn't be practical. I don't, and they do stream the services. So, honestly, yeah. John DeMarco says, if we were to stretch the analogy, we could say the disease would have been wiped out the founders, but we could say that the disease that would have wiped out the founders was their equivalent to the nuke. I don't see it, honestly. Like I said, and especially if you've been in the military, it's not the same thing. A biological weapon and a nuke are not the same thing. Dreamers out there. Actually, it was Rick Berman who wanted the Dominion War to last for 5 episodes, so the writers fought for it to be a 2-season story since it was a war and needed to breathe story-wise. Well, I'm fine with, I think the Dominion story was handled pretty well. I like the fact that it pretty much lasted until the end of the series. But I think that the Ducat story went way sideways with the Pa Wraith thing. I think that I really like Damar's story and how he ended up becoming the father of the new Cardassia. I was actually very sad that Damar ended up dying. But Ducat and the Pa Wraiths, I thought was the dumbest thing that they did on the entire series. And Alex says, I'm still in Army Aviation. Oh, very cool. Well, thank you for your service then, Alex. I do appreciate it, my friend. I was 95 Bravo MP, so when you were out drinking, I was the person that was taking you to the drunk tank. While the U.S. provided much-needed supplies, I was in the Red Army that fought 80%. It was the Red Army that fought 80% of the Germans. Thomas says, I was the guy wearing the shirt with the U.S. flag saying "Back to work." I saw a guy wearing a shirt with the U.S. flag saying "Back to back World War champions." That's interesting. Wesley Crusher's in the house. Shut up, Wesley. And it's Salty Trekker, not Salty Trek, just so you know. Springtime says, big difference. Most histories now believe that Germany never had a chance in World War II because of poor production and lack of oil and other supplies, unlike the Dominion. Well, I don't know about that. Like I said, I'm not a historical buff. I think that, I'm not an expert on World War II. However, my limited knowledge of World War II is that the United States and the Allies pretty much, that it was. The problem is that I think Germany really they tried to take over the world. Jordan says, I like how when Cisco, I assume you mean, was talking to the Romulans, he said that he would side with the ones who would leave them alone afterwards. Yeah? And let's see. Thomas says, Salty Trucker, how far is your church? Can you wheel yourself there? No. Make Joshua carry it over. Wow. You guys are mean. And Orville Nation, hey, buddy.
Hi, diddly ho. Oh, hilly, yeah. Oh, hilly, da. Oh, hilly, da. Oh, hilly, da. Hi, diddly ho. Hi, diddly ho. Hi, diddly ho. Hi, diddly ho.
FYI, U-boat seamen would sneak onto Long Island at night during war. They would stay for days in NYC, gather info, and then get picked up again by U-boat.
Well, funny story is they would stay in Caroga. True story. Caroga, New York. Bird of Prey 5. Wouldn't the war be more like Vietnam with only difference of the Federation winning, unlike the U.S.? Except that the Vietnam War, the big difference there is the Viet Cong fought literal jungle warfare, and the Dominion War was a more World War type of war, an open shooting war. So the problem is the style of war was more like World War, but the way that the Federation was getting slowly pinched out of existence. But even then, it wasn't like Vietnam because it wasn't the Federation in someone else's territory. It was the Federation was getting stomped out of existence. And honestly, I don't see an analogy with with the modern world. I just think it was a fun story arc. Wesley says, I could have sworn I typed it right. Well, of course you could have, because you're Wesley. Shut up, Wesley. You still need to change your name, buddy. You do know that, right? Because you're Wesley. Let's see. And let's see. Professor Brainy Specs, I didn't see you there. Welcome, my friend. Hope you are doing well. Thomas says, too bad you don't have the pickup truck. Then they could put you in the chair in the bed. Honestly, I wish I did still have that truck. I really miss my old pickup truck. It was an F-250. I love that truck. Yeah. John DeMarco says, I think the Dominion War was complicated enough of a storyline that it can't really directly relate it to any one real world. I agree, and I think it was just a good story. And that's the thing about Star Trek up until 2009 is it was just about good storytelling. Which is something that I miss. And Springtime, thank you so much, buddy. Throws $10 into the bucket for my doctors. And there we go. I love the fact that this is definitely working with Xsplit, so my test seems to be successful.
Unlike the powers of Earth, the Dominion had the power of at least 100 planets supplying and supporting the Dominion war machine, something that even the Klingons or Romulans were unable to do.
Very true. The Dominion were definitely a superpower. And something unlike the Federation had ever faced. And unlike the Borg, the Dominion were interested in conquest, where the Borg were overconfident. I actually did like the Dominion, although I wanted to see a full-on Borg invasion, which we never got. I was so disappointed by First Contact, obviously, but the Dominion War, I think, was a great way to run the Deep Space Nine series. Professor Brainspeck says, no, not really. If you're saying no, not really, you're not doing okay. Well, I am truly sorry to hear that, my friend. You know what might cheer you up? Some chili lime Blum Loco salt. This is the official salt of the Salty Trekker, at least today. It is darn good salt. I put some on my popcorn during movie night last night, and oh man, this is good salt. So at least so far, this is the official salt of the Salty Trekker. I may actually make a branded version. I'm talking to AJ Blum, who is the owner-operator of Blum Loco Salts. We may do a custom label of some of his salts as a Patreon reward because his salts are so good. And I was like, I told him, hey, I'm the Salty Trekker. Why not? But I'm truly sorry you're not feeling well, Professor, and I'll keep you in my thoughts and prayers, buddy.
Hi, diddly ho.
Wesley says, how much
Hi,
to
diddly
stop
ho.
that?
Hi, diddly ho.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Here, let me
Hi,
see.
diddly ho.
Let's go into...
Hi, diddly ho. Hi, diddly ho.
How much to stop the Matthew Hi Didio?
Let's see. Let me see if I can get into the dashboard here, just for you, and fix the super chat for you. What do we got? We'll go into the alert box and super chats, because you're just so mean. You hate. You hate Matthew. I see how you are. Let's see. What can we do? What do we got? We got... What's this one?
You're traveling through the desert. Hello?
He who controls the space! He who controls the space controls the universe!
Alright, we'll just use that for now. There. Just for you. I changed that. Save. So there. I changed the sound just for you, Wes. So if anybody else super chats today, it will not say hi diddly ho if I did it right. We'll find out. Maybe. Don't say I never did anything for you, Wesley. Alright, so anyway, where was I? So I was saying, Professor Brainy Specs, I want you to feel better, buddy. I don't know what's going on in your life, but I do know that sometimes, man, life hits you hard, and so definitely be keeping you in thoughts and prayers, buddy. Maybe you didn't drive that truck so much, you wouldn't be so hot in Tennessee today. That doesn't make any sense, Cinnabon. Multi-Gunman says, was your F-250 diesel or gas? What engine do you have? It was gas. Jordan says, what if our whole existence is some alien reality show and aliens are manipulating events to make things more interesting? Well, then I wish the aliens would stop manipulating things so that my life sucks so bad. Seriously, what's the deal? Lisa says, this sounds like the stupidest project, but there's an open source design for a medical exoskeleton out there that just needs a mid-range 3D printer that can handle iron. Well, that's weird. Wesley says, I miss my Make YouTube Go super chat. I know, Wes, I know. And you know what? I'm working on it, buddy. I do have and that's one of the reasons I'm getting the XSplit stuff ready, because hopefully if I can get this set up in XSplit, then we can start making some of the super chats work again. Jordan says, if you want full-on Borg invasion, read Star Trek Destiny. Actually, I haven't read Star Trek Destiny, but I will tell you that Star Trek Vendetta has got a really good Borg invasion story, where 3 Borg cubes. The final battle is, if I remember correctly, it involves 3 Borg cubes, led, by the way, by an assimilated Ferengi, in a position very similar to Locutus. I can't remember the name of the assimilated Ferengi, but it was very cool. And it was one of those situations where the Borg, and this is something that they just didn't get with the Queen, where the Borg would assimilate traits of different species that they assimilated. So they assimilated a Ferengi to take the place of Locutus. And so the Borg are getting ready to attack, and Picard's on the comms, and the Borg cube is like, lower your shields, we will assimilate you, blah, blah, blah. And Picard's like, we will fight you, blah, blah, blah. And the Borg are like, wait, can we make a deal? Because they have a Ferengi now, And, but the final battle involved the 3 Borg cubes with the Ferengi, and on the side against 2 Federation starships and a doomsday machine. It's freaking awesome. How do you feel about the Deus Ex Machina and Sacrifice of Angels? I'm not the biggest fan of that. I thought it was a cop-out. But at least I will say this. While it was something of a cop-out, it was a cop-out that at least had its foundation laid from the beginning of the series. We knew the wormhole aliens were there. We knew that Sisko had a relationship with the wormhole aliens. So if anybody was going to, for Sisko to basically make an appeal to the wormhole aliens, I didn't love it, but at least I could see it. So it wasn't, I would have rather seen something else happen, but I didn't. I didn't think it was the worst thing ever. I read those books done by Shatner. Wow, what a waste that was. Well, I'm not interested in Shatner's writing. I love Shatner as Kirk, but not interested in his writing. Personally, I think the resolution of Sacrifice of Angels makes sense since the prophets has set it up since the first episode. Well, that's what I was saying, John. Is that as a Deus Ex Machina, it makes sense. I'm just not a big, I just would have liked something a little better. Maybe if they had kind of set it up a little better in that, okay, we knew about the wormhole aliens. Maybe had Sisko said, like if they had hinted at it, like, hey, maybe, we can get to the wormhole to appeal to the aliens. Something like that, instead of have it just be a Deus Ex. Because the problem was that it just kind of felt like it came out of left field, even if it was a logical extrapolation. To me, it feels like Sisko would say, as a Hail Mary, if they get the mines down, then we're going for the wormhole to try and appeal to the aliens. That would make sense for that Sisko would say that. Star Trek Destiny has 7,000 to exterminate the entire Alpha Quadrant. Okay. Brian says, hey, Salty Trekker. I was like, ST. I was like, Star Trek. Thanks for hanging out with us this week. A stray dog came to my house and was eat up with cancer wounds. And I lost my father-in-law. Your channel is great escape. Oh, man. Well, Brian, I'm sorry you had a rough week. And, if hanging out with me helps you get through by the time, then I'm glad I can provide that service a little bit. I will tell you that this week I'm going to be stressed out a bit. Next week, I don't even know what's going to happen because I'm going to have to go back to work, and I'm not in any condition to work. So I don't know what's going to happen. Alex, how would I rewrite Sacrifice of Angels? I would probably keep the keep it the way I'd probably keep the death by wormhole aliens there, or I wouldn't even keep it death by wormhole aliens. I would probably have the wormhole aliens not simply make the Dominion fleet disappear, but make it so that they end up going back out. That like they can't go through the wormhole. And so I would make it, but I would also telegraph it a little. The problem with it is that what makes an ex machina is the idea that you had no idea that was coming, right? And so, and there was no, there was no warning. It was just like, oh, so now it's all fixed, yay, and that didn't, but if on the way there, when the Defiant is trying to punch through, and they're like, or the Defiant has just punched through the battle lines, and they're on their way to Deep Space Nine, and he's like, okay, so here's what we're gonna do, our main plan is, we keep the minefield up. If they take down the minefield, then here's what we do. We make a run for the wormhole, and we're going to try to appeal to the wormhole aliens to stop the fleet. If that doesn't work, then we collapse the wormhole. And that's our Hail Mary, right? And so that way we know, okay, and to collapse the wormhole, how do we do that? We engage the self-destruct while we're in the wormhole. So that way we have our plan A, our plan B, and we know they're not going to go there, suicide mission to end it all. And that's kind of how I would do it. And so if you telegraph it a little bit, then when we actually do have the conversation with the wormhole aliens, you don't feel like this came out of nowhere. Sister says, we're here for you if you need to vent. Oh, I will definitely be needing to vent. And I appreciate a multi-gunman, so hang in there. AT, we're pulling for. I appreciate it. It's going to be tough. I'm going to do everything I can. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but hopefully with your guys' support, we're going to make it through. But it's going to be a challenge. I'm not going to lie, it's going to be a challenge. But I will tell you, I have to take care of my family. I absolutely have to. And look at this. See, I turn off Matthew going hi diddly ho for Wesley, and then nobody super chats. So, Wesley, you got your wish anyway. Jordan says, cannons to the right of them, cannons to the left of them, cannons in front of them, volleyed and thundered, stormed with the shot and shell. Boldly they rode and well into the jaws of death. I love that poem. John says, they tried collapsing the wormhole in an earlier, but it failed because of the changeling sabotage, making the wormhole even stronger. Right, but if they actually did a self-destruct in the wormhole, would that collapse it? Like, they could say that if they actually, because remember, writers can just say whatever they want. So if they actually did the self-destruct in the wormhole, they could say that would collapse the wormhole, and that would be their Hail Mary pass. And so that's how I would write it. Anyway, so the missus is home from church. So I think I should, well, I know she's going to make dinner here in a minute, so let me check. I don't really have a screen set up to go away, so I'll text her real quick. And let me see. Okay, I am streaming. Should I stop now, or will it be a while? Question mark. All right. And Alex actually put $5 in, so that should test and see if I managed to fix it for Wesley, who seems to have disappeared after he was complaining. Any minute now.
He who controls
There
the
we go.
space controls the universe.
How about we have the fleet go through but the prophets send the Defiant to the future where the Dominion won? The crew would lead a rebellion.
Well, now you're sounding like you're a writer for Discovery, Alex. No. I would not do that, because that sounds exactly like something they would do on Discovery. I honestly, no, I would not do that. And besides, why would the prophets do that? They'd say, ha ha, he lost. Why would you listen to Wesley? Well, because, you know, I don't want to get another horrible death notice from Wesley. What a guy. Jordan says, after Riker is done with the holodecks, saying that they tried collapsing. And talking to John DeMarco, and Wesley says, "I'm here." Well, Wesley, I fixed it for you. Yeah, let's see. And Alex, did my super chat get addressed on lore? Wait, you're super chatting lore? Oh, come on now. I always address everybody's super chats. Why are you super chatting lore when you could just send me the money? I can, you know what? I got Lore's number on speed dial here. I'll get your super chat addressed by Lore. I'm kidding. George says, your Be Right Back music should be, we didn't start the... You know, George, the problem with that, that would be awesome, except that then I would have to get into a copyright battle with every single live stream, because the We Didn't Start the Canon, well, that video, I won the copyright battle on. If I put that song in another video, I then have to get into the copyright battle for that video. And so if I did it in a live stream, I would then have to get into the copyright battle for that live stream, etc. I would have to fight it for every single live stream I used it. I do love that song, but I can't use it all the time because of that. Although I should try it sometime, see what happens. And Z says, or Mikey shows up in the red suit and accidentally wipes out the fleet and then goes back to the past, future, shakes magic 8-ball, hail Kuroga, I may need a different 8-ball. That is horrible. You are a horrible person, Z's. You are a horrible, horrible person. That's just, it's wrong. And Wesley, thank you so much, puts $5 in, says, I don't get, everybody says, shut up, Wesley. And then when I'm quiet for a few minutes, and you think I just, well, of course. Because you won't shut up. Don't you get it? And I figured that with Dune coming, I put the He Who Controls the Spice. I'll have to get a clip from Dune to put there instead of Matthew spinning around. Or I'll have to get that hi diddly ho, you know, because I know how much you like that.
He who controls the spice controls the universe.
I don't get it. Everyone says shut up, Wesley, then I'm quiet for a few minutes and then you think I disappear.
And I was like, why is everybody just super chatting? Why is nobody using the Streamlabs? And I've just realized the Streamlabs is probably not in the description, huh? Let me go look. I'll have to fix that for the... Oh, no, it's in there. You guys just aren't using it. Okay, I see. I see how it is. I get it. You just don't like me. Sister says, so looking forward... Yeah, I gotta say, trailer for Dune looks incredible. Foundation as well, I agree.
Controls the universe.
I want super chat lore. Here is what I asked. Did he know that the Bajoran-Kadi Fed relationship is exactly like the Ukrainian-Russian US? The occupation lasted as long as the Soviet occupation did.
That's interesting. I did not know that. And so, no, I did... So the Bajoran Cardi is exactly like the Russian, Ukrainian one. That is actually an interesting one, and but that's kind of weird and flies in the face of it being a World War II analogy as far as the war, because obviously the Cardis aren't the Soviets, because the Klingons are more like the Soviets, if anybody. But that is kind of cool. That is an interesting parallel there. They like doing things that are similar, but I don't think that they're trying to make exact parallels. I'm sorry, I'm not streaming with Lore right now. Spike, I stream with Lore on Tuesdays, and I don't know if Lore is still streaming right now, but Tuesdays, every Tuesday, the plan is for now I will be streaming with Lore. And so let me see. The missus still didn't see my text, it looks like. Let's see. Jordan says if you won the original copyright battle in the original video, you shouldn't have a problem using it since you own it. Well, it depends on, like, man, I tell you, the copyright with YouTube is a funky thing. I'm not gonna lie, it's funky, because sometimes they say, oh, okay, it's fine on that channel, and then other times they're just complete jerks. So it's a weird situation. Two different analogies. Occupation has similar death toll to Stalin's Holodomor. Holodomor? What's with Lore not showing you on his channel when you are together? Lore's always kind of been like that. I don't think it's anything personal. I think that this I don't know what he's using as far as his software and how his setup is. And so maybe he can just do the audio as far as making it work for him. When I'm doing joint live streams, I'm using StreamYard. And so when I'm using StreamYard, it's easy to have, I can have up to 10 people, and it's easy. I don't think that Lore uses StreamYard, but the thing is that he can simply grab that same screen on his end, but I think he doesn't because, well, I'm not even sure why he doesn't. I'll have to ask him. Maybe we can come. It might be because he doesn't like the green. Because what I do on StreamYard is I have a green screen that is a border around everybody, and then I filter that out and put a star field around it. I'm gonna have to play with see if Xsplit can handle that as well as OBS has, but we'll see. And so 5 million died in the occupation, the Ukrainian family. I did not, man, you see, Alex, you're like the historical nut. I'm not the historical nut. And Gul Dukat is similar to Stalin. Both say we're just punishing disobedient children or denying the atrocities completely. Well, Gul Dukat, like I said, he is a nut. Gul Dukat, up until the Paul Wraith thing, I thought was a very interesting guy because he really could defend himself really well. AFIK, not sure what that means, Lisa. Lore is taking his kids out to dinner on Starfleet Boys dime at the moment. I think he's using Streamlabs. Okay, I'm not. So I have no. Okay. I think AFIK. As far as I know, Lore is taking his kids out to dinner on Starfleet Boys dime. No idea what you're talking about, Lisa. You saying Starfleet Boy is someone who's paying for Lore's kids' dinner? Okay. Well, that's nice of Starfleet Boy. Starfleet Boy should buy me dinner. There are even similarities with religious figures being collaborators. I did not know that either. Thomas says, speaking of lore, a Packlet ship came the other day. What, Auntie? What are you barking at? Huh? What are you barking at, you dummy? Yeah. You making noise? And Admiral Saval says later, have a good one, Admiral. What? What are you whining about? Well, you are just a whiner today. Yeah? Yeah, I'm right here. I don't know. What do you want? Lore makes YouTube go, says John. Well, let me see if I can find that, John. Let's see here. I don't know if I can find it on short notice, but I'll see. Let's see. YouTube backup files. So you didn't check your text. And let's see. Videos, YouTube assets. No, it's not there. Salty outro. Maybe dad stuff. Mega chats. Super turds, broke back, YouTube's lore on we're looking for the Packlids, right? That's the one we're looking for. Most effective way to stop the Borg from assimilating your ship is put a Kurogan on it. The Borg will not assimilate them because it would devolve the collective, making them dumber. That's true. Just found out Tom Paris was in the Master Universe 1987 movie. I did not know that. Let's see. And that's not what we need. Super chats. Where is what I'm looking for? Our master. Nope, not there. Our view screen. Come on, where's what I'm looking for? Bird chat, make a chat. No, that's definitely not it. Tell us. Oh, let's see if this is what I think it is.
Thomas Potts is first in the chat once again. Congratulations on your accomplishment. As a Telosian, I live through other people's experiences and desires. I feed on the lives of others. You have nothing to fear from us, Thomas, as you have no life for us to feed on.
Ah, yes. I found that the other day and I was like, oh, I forgot about that. Alright, let's see. Still looking for... Excalibur. Joker. Let's see. That's that. Not that. What's this? After. No, that's not it. Bird chat. No. Mega chats. No. Let's see. No. And let's see. Yeah, I found a couple of the bird lotions ones. And let's see. Man. But yeah, the bird makes YouTube go. That was a super chat, right? That was not an Uber chat or a mega chat. Trying to see if I can find any evidence of it existing here. Yeah, I'm trying to I'm digging through everything I've got here. And video clips. I don't think it will be in there. Nope. That's really old stuff. Uh, 007, almost human. Yeah, I cannot find. Let's see, Space Reynolds. Let's see, anti-tricker. Nope, nothing there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep digging, but that may be lost in the sands of time, unfortunately. As far as trying to find what was recovered in the old portable hard drive and what was not there. Because in the mega chats, I see Quantum of the Force, gun safety, the super turds. Meanwhile, in France, launch of the Quantum, Brokeback YouTubers, a Hypno Turd, Lore on Voyager, and Sing It, which looks frightening. Let's see, then for Uber chats, we have Lore Master, Lawn Master, the Dark Turd, Turd in 2 tracks. Meanwhile, in the 80s, Affirmative Action League, Brokeback Turds, Choke on Chicken, Time, Amok, and Uber Chat Spinning Spocks. It was number 15 normal. Yeah, and then for Super Chats, yeah, we have not very many of them. I'm trying to find. Yeah, I have the Infinity Flush, Feces and Lorehead, Paying Lore Visit, Lore Meets Drax, Chitzam, The New Joker, Infinity, Poop Reward, Ryan Butthole, Ryan Johnson's Face, Turtis, Xenomorph Reloaded. I don't even know what this one is. Red versus White. Trump Rolled, which we had to get rid of because it kept getting a copyright strike. The Farnsworth trailer, which was a spoof of the Picard trailer. How to Fix Excalibur, Kelpie and Stew, and one that just says logo. I'm not sure what that one is. And another one says technical difficulties. Not sure what that one is. And then another one says Super Bunny. Not sure what that one is. So I need to update Super Turds to add Matthew to it. I did love the Super Turds. That one was a great one. That was one of the mega chats. Where is that one? There. We'll bring that one up. Ah, yes.
In the great hall of the Justice League, there floats the world's 4 greatest turds. Created from cosmic indigestion, Super Turd, Wonder Turd, Bat Turd, Aqua Turd, and those 2 junior Super Turds, Lore Reloaded and Punchy the Wonder Cat.
Ah, yes, I miss those days. Lore Reloaded and Punchy the Wonder Cat. I'm sorry, Cinnabon. No good bunny super chats. So we'll see if I get if I now get a copyright strike on this live stream for playing that, since my whole thing editing Matthew as Aqua Matthew got copyright. That whole live stream got taken down. So yeah, I miss it. Let's see. I don't even know what is Sing It. Let's take a look at this one.
And sing it, sing it, sing it.
My, this here Anakin guy.
Sing it.
Maybe Vader someday later, now he's just a small fry.
Sing it.
He left his home and kissed his mama goodbye.
Okay. I think we saw enough of that. Yeah. That was bad. That was very, very bad. So we're gonna. You know what I think I'm gonna do? Burn it. Yeah, that one is bad. That one is horrible. I may do start a thing with like a chat roulette thing, where like people can. I have to see if there's got to be a way to set it up. Oh, and Alex, thank you so much. Those $5 in.
He who controls the spice controls the universe.
What about Cisco beating the Ducat cleanly in Sacrifice? When Ducat sets the trap, Cisco ignores it and outflanks, then collapses the wormhole.
What about Cisco beating the Ducat cleanly in Sacrifice? Are you saying like what do I like my problem with Sacrifice of Angels as far as the combat? I mean, this could be a whole series of videos talking about, because I know that like Lore Reloaded did so many videos on the Dominion War, and I've been thinking about doing a few videos on the Dominion War myself. But the problem is I have a big problem with the way the Dominion War was shot and done as cinematically. Because honestly, the Dominion War sucked from a cinematic perspective. They kept talking about this strategy, but it didn't look like strategy at all. It just looked like ships buzzing around and shooting. It didn't look like I never saw in, like, you know, they would say, oh, attack pattern Kirk Epsilon 9 or whatever. It never felt like we were seeing strategy being played out. We just saw, oh, yes, there's a hole in the middle of it. We can make it through. We never saw that. We just saw ships buzzing around and flying and doing stuff. I had a big problem with that. That's why I liked You know, like in Star Trek 2, that's why I always sing the praises of the combat in Star Trek 2. Every time Kirk issued an order, as far as, you know, hard to starboard, hard to port, do this, do that, you knew what he was telling you. He didn't say attack pattern Epsilon 7-5, and then they just hit a few buttons, and then you wonder what the ship is doing and not know. Right? They just use, Kirk would say, go this way, go that way. Like, even like when they're in the nebula, okay, Z minus 10,000 meters. You didn't have to be an expert on what was going on to know exactly what they were doing. The ship stopped, they dropped, and then they waited for a line to go overhead, and then they raised up and came up behind them. We got it. It made sense. When we watch Sacrifice of Angels, we just see, and it didn't, you know, it didn't feel like strategy. It just looked like special effects. And so they were telling us that Cisco beat Ducat at his own game. We didn't really see that. We just saw lots of visual effects, lots of ships buzzing around. And so I have a problem with that. And honestly, Robert, as far as Babylon 5, I would have to rewatch it to give an honest assessment of that. To say that they did it better, I would have to rewatch it. Because I haven't watched Babylon 5 in so long that I could not give an honest appraisal of that. So that's just my opinion. But and Alex, so I'm not trying to dodge the question. I just it didn't feel like strategy at all. As far as what he was doing, he was pushing through. I get what he was trying to do. He was basically saying, yeah, we get that it's a trap, but we're going to push through. But what he should have done, you know, and we should have been able to see what he was doing. Instead, we saw the Defiant and 2 Miranda class ships, and the 2 Miranda class ships blew up, and then the Defiant made it through, and everybody else blew up. That's what we saw. I didn't see a hole in their defenses. I saw the Defiant and 2 Miranda class ships fly through, and the 2 Miranda class ships blew up. That's what I saw. And so, I get what they were doing from a storytelling perspective. I just didn't see it, if that makes sense. And Lee says, I think you just summoned evil copyright death bots. We'll see. Babylon 5, I already read that. What am I looking forward to in Trek, Daniel? Hopefully good Trek. I'm truly hoping Strange New Worlds is good Trek. We will see. With Discovery, I'm just looking forward to when the series is over at this point. I mean, we'll see what they do with season 4. I will try to give it a fair shake, but I'm honestly tired of Star Trek Gilmore Girls. I'm tired of where it's more about the girls just standing around in the hallways crying and hugging and talking about their periods. I'm sorry if that offends people, but that's what the show has devolved into. I'm not interested in that. I want space adventures. I'm not interested in girls sitting around talking about their feels. And so, can we please get back to space adventures? I don't care what the gender of the captain and the crew of the ship is. I do care about what the show is about. And the show is not supposed to be about people standing around crying and talking about their feels. Sorry, not sorry. But if the original series was done in the style of Discovery, then Kirk and Spock and McCoy and Scotty would all be standing around in the corridor and crying all the time. And I'm sorry, but that's not what the show's about. Since Cisco did not beat him cleanly in real life, I'm not sure what you mean by cleanly. I mean, he beat him. He got Deep Space Nine back-ish. You should do Babylon 5. I don't trust whose name is banned. He whose name is banned to watch it. Well, the problem is that eventually he whose name is banned will watch it. I mean, and he whose name is banned and I share a Vimeo account. Although that would be fun to do a Babylon 5 viewing night. Maybe we'll do that like on his off nights instead of Jeopardy. I don't know. What do you guys think? Like instead of Jeopardy, maybe on the off nights we'll just do a Babylon 5 screening room. But the problem is I'll need a co-host. Is there somebody that might be up for that? Who wants to co-host a Babylon 5 screening room with me where we could watch 2 episodes of Babylon 5 on the alternating nights that I'm not watching movie night with Matthew? Mr. DeMarco,
Controls the space.
I'm
Controls
looking at
the
you.
universe.
What I meant is instead of what we saw, Cisco does the opposite, wins by using actual tactics instead of the Deus Ex profits.
What I meant is instead of what we saw, Cisco does the opposite, wins by using the actual... well, you mean like, so what you're saying is that Cisco doesn't win cleanly, he uses yeah, I would have preferred if Cisco won using actual tactics as opposed to, magic and profits. Okay, so if that's what you're saying, I guess we're on the same page then. I don't like that. Yeah, he won by going through a magic hole in the defenses that wasn't there, and then appealing to the prophets who made the reinforcements disappear. So on that, I guess we're agreed. I don't think that was the best way to do it. The movie night did not get a copyright warning at all, so I think Matthew's little fuzzy thingy works. I did like space combat more in Babylon 5, even CGI is dated. I like I remember like the first time I saw the shadow ship fire its laser beam and it just like cut right through a ship, and I was like, oh, dang. Matthew's streaming soon that Roman game. Is he really? Dang, how many times is he going to stream that game? I think he's kind of obsessed. I think Matthew is secretly, he wants to be a Roman. Dreamers out there is like, I will co-host. I know everything about B5. That's scary. And John DeMarco says, I've never seen Babylon 5. And John says, I'm heading out. So everybody's abandoning me because apparently Matthew is about to live stream. I see how it goes. Matthew, everybody likes Matthew. Let's just go over to see his live stream. What's he doing here?
Oh boy, I can't wait to do that. Apparently, by popular demand, allow bold players to disable all whispered.
So, okay, so I see he's streaming right now. So everybody go over to Matthew's stream. I'll put the link in the chat. I'll stop streaming in just a minute here. So here's the link to Matthew's stream. I want everybody to go there and say, how dare you stream at the same time as Salty Trekker. Because Miss Pepper is about to have dinner ready anyway. So I want everybody to go over there. Let's blow up his chat. Come on, everybody. We can give him a record-setting chat as he plays his Roman game. I think. You see, he is just obsessing with that game because he wants to be Roman because he likes all the nasty sexual bits in the game. He just wants to be able to be with all the weirdos in Rome. So it's true. He just wants to, that's all it is. That's why he likes that game. Yeah, that's what it is. He's a freak. Matthew's a straight up freak. Alright, so I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. He's a freak. Alright, so go on over there. Hang out with Matthew. And he's a good guy. I do love Matthew. He's a great guy. And I'm going to go get dinner and get some rest. I'll probably stream at some point tomorrow over on Twitch if I can figure out how to get things set up there, and test out OBS and try to test out switching back and forth between OBS and Xsplit and stuff. So guys, thanks for hanging out with me. You guys are awesome. And remember, you are the salt of the earth,